close up because I think it would be funny. I hope this works for people. Because like you know how in the UK I have a Henry close up. I'm gonna add a Joker close up now. So, yeah. First of all, would we need to? There is a Henry option here. Okay, so this is definitely probably set to the actual Henry at home. Let's see if I can. Yeah. Maybe not that far, you know. Maybe a little bit like. This is the Joker. Yeah, I think that that works. Now all we gotta do is, first of all, let me reset it back to normal. I'm a little bit low, which my friend, by the way, Casabon, just so you know, I'm not sure if you saw, I didn't announce it anything yet, but my best friend will join our stream tomorrow. He will be right here. He is the one responsible that I even started reading SCP to begin with. So we wanted to hang out tomorrow, and I was like, hey man, I'm going to read SCPs tomorrow because we are about to finish the 2600. And he was like, yeah dude, I'm down to be being back on stream again. It's been like a year since the last time he was on stream with me. And so if you see a guy right here tomorrow, and we're just having a bit of a laugh, bit of like back and forth banter, I hope you can join. I hope you can see that happening live. That would be awesome. If not, you can always watch the VOD or see the videos afterwards. But yeah, he will join us. He will read with me. We probably will have a bit of like a back and forth switch, depending how it goes, and also how long the reads are. If it's really long, I might just like make it more like I start reading as fast as possible, because I want to hang out with him. And if it doesn't take too long, then yeah, we'll do some back and forth reading time. Okay, let me just put this here. Take the scene Henry. I'll probably join tomorrow. Okay, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Joker. There we go. Let's see if this works. There we go. There we go. We got the Joker. We got the Joker close up. We got the Joker close up. I now need to practice my Henry Cavill Joker, because that's more akin to Henry Cavill's Joker anyway. Because I because Batman, the Arkham games, that looks more like the Arkham Joker, to be honest. So I gotta practice. I have to like listen to his Joker voice and just get into that. But yeah, that's for tomorrow. I'll tell people once they join more and more. I will tell Crazy. I will tell. Actually, I'm gonna say on stream on Discord right now, real quick. So Pro-Fros and fellow researchers. Here we go. Tomorrow, my best friend will join my stream. He is the one responsible for me getting into SCPs. If you guys want unhinged banter and two dumbasses, be there please. Alright, that's now set. Okay, how about we actually officially start now? It's been 4 minutes. So this SCP is brought to you by a random day, and the last time we had this SCP was with 2664, which was Red Line, which was the whole like Russia base creating like this almost like superhero child out of like by fusing triplets into one each other, and then like the whole house was like basically like a sentient maze, you know, like it was kind of like the house itself was a brain that just made shit up when you were in it, which at first I was a bit confused about it, but then I think the more if I recall correctly, it was a month ago, the more we read about it, the more I was getting into it, because it was just like cool. The imagery alone is really cool, like the idea of like so much unhinged shenanigans happen to to the MTF that went into the house was really fun. By the way, I have the fan on, so if you hear that, I apologize. It is fucking hot. But, okay, a random day has now written, "The gorillas simply freeze to death." What a title. And what is... Okay, this is already like a very complicated start, it seems. Look at this. Look at this. This gonna be... Oh, there's like... Okay, so there's multiple versions. Okay, this is gonna take a while. This is gonna take a bit. We have 20,000 words to read today. So, and I haven't even started reading, and I already have something in my eye. That's great. Welcome to SCP IPNet Direct Access Terminal. Please enter command. And then we have SSH @SA at foundation.scp BH4RDVHAA exclamation mark ANG exclamation mark RSA question mark BARH dot 45 Patya. Username Arvindasay. Okay, it's also really fucking hard where so yeah, I was in Ibiza for 12 days like 2 days ago. Shit was unbearable. Access title director side 42 authentication accepted, please enter command. Access 2680/R-M4 displaying SCP-2680 major revisions only, clearance level 4. So there was major revisions. This SCP was not letting them having an easy time figuring out what the hell it is. The title makes it sound easy. The gorillas simply just freeze to death, but the fact that we have 3 different log entries or 3 different revisions, so to say, tells me it's not as simple as the title says it is. Version 1.5.6, erroneous as of the 16th, 1st, 1999. Okay, here we go. Object class, Keter, Euclid. Containment protocols. One infected individual is incarcerated within detention cell 48 at Site 74, which should be constantly under guard and possess a single slot through which meal rations may be inserted thrice per day. Guards should make all reasonable attempts to avoid physical contact with the individual and be prepared to shoot and burn the individual's corpse should an escape be attempted. All personnel that might come into contact with SCP-2680 or -1 must be clad in full piece one body Macintoshes over wax cotton garments and herd respirators. Outfits tainted by -1 fluid or discharge must be promptly incinerated. Infected individuals should be dealt with using long-range weaponry, and the bodies cremated as close quarters combat is strictly forbidden, and no attempts should be made to physically handle infected persons. As locating and eradicating both individuals afflicted by the malady and communities in which SCP-2680 plagues large proportions of the population is a crucial component of containment. Investigative Team I-3 Plague Doctors has been assigned to this task with offensive equipment including .56 caliber Colt Model 1855 revolving carbines, 1-inch caliber Model 1861 Gatling guns, and gelignite and dynamite explosive weaponry. I'm kind of proud of myself. I read that whole thing in a decent speed without stuttering too much. Sometimes you just gotta be like, you did good. You did good. You're 29 and you didn't stutter during a read. You did good. Watch me now stutter throughout the whole thing. If more than 1/4 of a community is infected by SCP-2680, the entire population must be quarantined and the community destroyed with explosives, while any and all survivors are to be euthanized and disposed of in the manner noted above. So it's pretty serious, as the way it sounds like, it's pretty goddamn serious, yes. And we have a nota bene. Nota bene? Nota bene? What the hell does it even mean? 16/7/19, Investigative Team K3, Titotelos. Is that how you say it? I have no idea. Has begun fortifying all commercial alcohol stocks across the continental United States with compound God damn it, I have something in my eye, dude. At a concentration of 1 teaspoon per bushel, doubling the proportion of compound Jenner in such regions where SCP-2680 recurs frequently for insertion into regions of the United States, such as that do not consume commercial alcohol, and any collation of individual residents throughout the United States that abstain from alcohol consumption or otherwise support temperance, thus precluding the insertion of compound gender into alcohol stocks. It should be mixed into smallpox vaccines at 3 drops per vial and then spread through aggressive vaccination campaigning, the process of which will be overseen by investigative team K4. Which doctor? Does this thing not have a single period until the end? Yeah. This whole paragraph has only commas. That's wow. Jenner's efficacy at curing SCP-2680 is to be evaluated every 3 months. Should its efficacy decrease, new variants are to be developed and seeded following the protocols outlined in Document-1. An investigation is ongoing regarding potential connection between SCP-2680 and GOY 01, the Chicago Spirit. Let me just open this up. I have heard from Howard that we don't have to read any of the side stuff. And group of interests, Chicago Spirit. Related files, here we go. Yeah, does this... Okay, so this is the first... Okay, interesting. A new group of interests, ladies and gentlemen. For me, at least. I have not heard of Chicago Spirit before. This is the first time. Note right here, 2680. First time I get to hear Chicago Spirits. And looks like they are going to be mentioned a couple more times. A lot of tales with them. Okay. Cool. I'm liking it. It's been a while since we had a new group of interests, I believe. The one I fully recall being new that I didn't know was Are We Cool Yet? And the second what was it called? The Hotef? I forgot what it's called. Like the other religion that was like, oh yeah, the world got destroyed once and then rebuilt, and now we're the one with the fucking origamis. That one, I think, if I recall correctly, might be the most recent group of interests that I recall. I might be wrong. There might have been another one that I mean, there's the Soxists, but I still feel like they're not that. Maybe I might be confusing which one came later down the line. But for me right now, Chicago Spirits, fully new, and it's been a while since we had a new group of interest. Nota Ben, I think they are like mafia. It sounds like mafia. I mean, isn't like Chicago where Al Capone came from? I just want to know what Nota Bene means. Ein Notabene oder Notabene ist eine latinische und italienische Floskel, die wörtlich merke wohl bedeutet und mit wohlgemerkt oder auch übrigens übersetzt werden kann. Okay, so it's like saying, it's kind of like saying PS. It's like saying like additional information for you to know or to like remember. Notabene 8th, 9th, 1906. Compound genders. Also, I don't know why it has set it to German this whole time. English bestätigen. I mean, I don't mind it being in German, but like it just means I have to translate every time I look something up, instead of you guys being able to like see it as well. Compound gender ubiquity in the residents and citizens of the United States has achieved a level that diminishes further efforts to transmit it through the United States, enabling Overwatch Command to declare a moratorium on its production and the transference of resource and efforts of containment of SCP-2680 on tracking down and eradicating any remaining infected individuals, which shall be overseen by investigative team I3. I kind of want to add a channel, a little mini sub channel for the SCP stuff, where it's all about, you know, when do we get to see a new group of interests showing up in my life, you know. Also, I'm probably gonna move the SCP stuff in its own little section and not be like mixed with all like the reading stuff and all that stuff. I think I'm just gonna make a little sub section for only SCP stuff. Yeah, okay, description. SCP-2680 is an anomalous viral disease that resembles smallpox, possessing similar symptoms such as the formation of irregular pustules, inflamed spots, lassitude, and delirium. Though there are 3 key differences. 1, that no known cure for SCP-2680 exists, with all attempts at inoculation resulting in contraction of the anomalous malady. Is that how you say malady, or is it I don't want to say malady, because I don't think that's how you say it at all, but let's see here.
Malady.
Malady. Now that makes more sense. That makes more sense. Malady. It's still set to fucking English though. What is English, motherfucker? What the hell? It just refuses. It literally just refused. What the fuck? Okay, I'll figure that out another time. I'll figure that out after the stream. 2, that the irregular pustules form not only on the patient's extremities and outer body, but also on the internal cavities such as the liver and intestines. 3, that the pustules are swelled with a green mixture, not merely of turgid pus, but also alcohol, otherwise fit for human consumption. That is gross. It's so gross. Contact with this fluid is the primary method by which SCP-2680 spreads from man to man. While it is theorized that the infection agent may also be spread through air, a mere 1/3 of all those observed to have been contaminated have contracted the malady, while the remainder are afflicted with ordinary pox. Also, I need to do something here real quick. Is that possible to have it like this and then just do that? Okay, there we go. If someone close, like someone I care for, is going for some stuff, so I'm having this open in case they need to text. Rather than slowly leaking, SCP-2680 pustules continually swell up with fluid till bursting. Ew. Had to fix that real quick. Thus, spraying the immediate area with a fluid discharge up to a 3-meter rate. What in the heck? Just fucking shooting out like the vomit from The Exorcist. To facilitate this process, patients have been observed to compulsively bite at the sores until they burst, consuming some of the resulting discharge as a form of reward. Pardon? Pardon me? What do you mean? What do you mean? What, despite lacking any, I'm trying to like not like lean down too much because like you don't see my face anymore. There we go. But now I gotta fix the Joker one because that's like that. Yeah, that's fine enough. Actually, let me just do this. There we go. Now I'm not like out of the frame. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of technical stuff in the while streaming. I'm sorry. Let's continue. Despite lacking any will to halt their own self-cannibalism, those indisposed report performing these acts of their own volition and universally describe these actions as a soothing way of coping with the disease. And here we have a kid going through it. First identified instance of -1 floating shortly before death. Oh, that's just sad. This, yeah, wow. Oof. With the fatality rate of SCP-2680 infection is greater than 9%, those infected by SCP-2680 only die after at least 30 to 50 days, while ordinary smallpox victims usually die after 10 to 16 days. Death is caused. Did I have smallpox? I had something, but I'm not sure if I had smallpox. I was vaccinated against that pretty early on. Death is caused by the rapid and immediate bursting of all pustules and sores inside and outside the body, causing the body to rupture explosively. God. Oh yeah, because of course they explode from the inside as well. God Damn. First contact. This document. How is this? What is this related? How is this related to fucking gorillas? What? First contact. This document was transcribed from the post-encounter commentary of Eustace Beige, captain of I-3, 2 weeks after his team confirmed the existence of SCP-2680. Eustace, of course we heard the rumors. Smallpox that could not be inoculated against, that caused beer to spill from every orifice, that caused men to split open and burst like overfilled balloons. We were the Foundation. We heard rumors just like that for years. Rumors of bubonic plague that caused men to turn into walking ghouls, of cholera that made men dissolve into the water leaking out of them. And of course, we investigated, and of course, for every 20 rumors we did so, we found perhaps one anomaly. And so, just like the cholera or the bubonic plague, we assumed that this was merely the fear-mongering of a few backwater farmers. We were prepared for anomalies. Of course, we were inoculated. We wore our herd masks. We wore our one-piece Macintoshes and hoods. Those thick, stifling coats that were just as likely to suffocate you as protect you. We were armed to the teeth, and so we encountered the damnable plague in the middle of July, in the backwater farm village in the middle of Missouri. It was near the middle of the day when we arrived, exhausted, hungry, hunched over from the weight of our packs and sweating like pigs. In the middle of the day, and the damn village was deserted, a ramshackle mess of cottages and sheds with nary a man in sight. We slammed on the inn's door for 15 minutes before someone opened it. The box, you opened it. Sorry. It took us an hour to explain why we were there and another hour for him to believe us. Where was the town doctor, we asked. Dead. Popped like a booze-filled balloon. The innkeeper claimed. Where was his body? Burned. Naturally. Who else was sick? A girl quarantined in the clinic. A family had fled. Sure, there were others, we asked. They went up in smoke like their houses. We entered the clinic. What was left of it? It was a hollow gutted shell burned to the ground. The basement, the trapdoor was locked. We had to kick it open. Inside, bones everywhere, scorched beyond belief. The air was thick with putrefaction liquor, and row after row of beds blown to smithereens. There were still bodies, these bloated, rotting, gutted husks that were popped like balloons. Horrible. The girl was in the far corner of the room. Nobody had attended to her for days. They had left her to fester in her own filth. She was riddled with sores, pustules, and rashes, and she was gnawing at them. Pus, alcohol, and blood squirting out of her, and she lapped it up like a dog. We got near her, but we were careful not to touch her wounds and tried to talk to her, interrogate her. And then, so I assume that girl must be her then. And the whole time we did, she kept eating herself alive. We would pull her hands away, and within minutes, this wretched creature would nibble the pustules of her shoulder. She just could not explain what had happened to her and how she had fallen ill. What had happened to those other damned souls or her family, where they had gone. Of course, this was the greatest fear. Where had her family gone? Were they infected? If the plain pox could spread like wildfire. We've been trying to wring anything useful out of the child for 3 hours before she died. She tried to speak and then swelled up. I immediately ordered my men to pull back out of the house. I looked back as we ran and I saw the fear in her eyes, and then there was a sound like a dozen Gatlings and the room exploded. When we had recovered from the blast, what was left of the room was splattered in blood, pus, and alcohol. We packed what was left of the body, burned down the house, and left. 2 weeks later, Campbell collapsed. We never did figure out how he got infected, probably a tear in the Mac, but there was no mistaking what had happened. Thank God we were already under probationary quarantine. He was thrown into his own quarantine den, and through it we could see him eating himself alive. 2 weeks after that, he exploded. That's fucking insane. That's metal, but that's insane. That's insane shit happening to. Imagine being a kid and just eating yourself and drinking from like alcohol out of your own body. That's messed up. And another banner. 1891. At this time, it is estimated that as much as 30% of all smallpox victims are currently infected with SCP-2680. Forcing Overwatch to declare a state of emergency regarding this event and mandate that euthanization of Dash 1 instance be considered the primary method of containment. Notabene 16/6/1896, testing of the secretion of reducted, combined with minor portions of lead and hydrargyrum mixed with alcohol, has proven efficacious in eliminating and preventing SCP-2680 infection in 99% of all test subjects. Efforts to scale up production of the substance are underway. So is this why it became from Keller to Euclid, because they actually found some medicine that could potentially deal with this alcoholic smallpox? Well, that was just version 1.5.6. We have a version 2.7.0 now. Erroneous as of the 5th, 12, 1933. So they figured out in 1919 that this is actually not how the SCP works or what the SCP is. Welcome, Mechanic. I hope you saw what I posted on Discord about my best friend joining in tomorrow. And I hope you can join tomorrow, because he is the one who got me into SCPs. And he's like absolutely my closest friend. He's a very funny guy. Me and him have always like some unhinged banter. So if you're there tomorrow, that would be awesome. And we will read SCPs. He's willing to be on my stream again and read SCPs with me. So it might be a long stream tomorrow, but I hope you're there. Okay, let's see what this new version is all about. Object class Keller, containment protocols, 1 liter. Oh, by the way, Mechanic. This is an SCP by a random day called The Gorilla Simply Freeze to Death. And so far we got a version that was talking about like people getting smallpox, but the smallpox, the pus, it's not only pus, but it's also alcohol coming out of it, and the internal body also gets it, and then eventually they explode in alcohol and pus. But that is apparently a version of the SCP that was wrong. Now we have a new version here. So let's see what this is all about. I did see it on Discord. You know, when it comes to SCPs, I will be there. Fucked up alcoholic smallpox. Yeah, pardon me. It is pretty fucked up because it's like it just makes you explode. 1 liter of SCP-2680 is currently contained at Site-75, stored inside a glass bottle in a biological containment cell that is not to be touched by hand and should only be handled by D-class personnel in protective clothing. All employees at Site-75 are strictly prohibited from consuming alcoholic beverages. Likewise, no alcoholic beverages whatsoever are allowed within Site-75, with punishment ranging from formal reprimand to immediate termination out of concern of contamination. Proposal to test with SCP-2680 must be evaluated by the Committee for B Hazards. All Foundation personnel are encouraged to abstain from alcohol consumption and join local temperance movements such as the Anti-Saloon League, ASL, okay. Several of which are currently receiving discreet funding from Foundation fund companies. While it is rumored that the United States government will officially outlaw alcohol, such an action is considered extremely unlikely, especially as a result of the Great War, leaving the matter in the hands of the population and therefore the Foundation. Yeah, and this... Well, the version has become obsolete in the 1930s. But that's what, before that they still thought that. Okay. At this time, proposal L109, Wrath of God, has been selected to combat SCP-2680. To this end, Overwatch has mandated assets across the continental United States to prepare for mass quarantine, disinfection, and sterilization campaigns, with all Foundation weapons research and development assets directed to accelerate the production of prototype thermobaric weaponry and air-dispersed amnestic compounds. Damn, this SCP seems really fucked up. Yeah, it's already like really intense start. Notabene, 16th, 1st, 1919, I mean, being that the production, distribution, and sale of commercial alcohol across the United States have been effectively banned by the successful passage and ratification of the 18th Amendment to the United States Constitution, thus inadvertently curtailing the spread of SCP-2680, Proposal L109 has been cancelled, with the aim of directing all otherwise engaged Foundation resources to develop a remedy for SCP-2680. So it was the Foundation that outlawed alcohol in the US during the 20s? Sounds like it, doesn't it? at least in the Foundation's lore, it sounds like they did it. Containment efforts are to concentrate on the total eradication of SCP-2680 within any remaining pockets of resistance, such as criminal organizations that have stockpiled alcohol, commercial alcohol producing companies, criminal organizations, bootlegging groups, and speakeasies are to be supplied with information and equipment to produce Asian salt and brew beverages unaffected by SCP-2680, while Foundation assets in the United States government are directed to take all possible actions to hinder communication, centralization, and transparency between federal and state authorities to encourage the spread of unaffected beverages. A moratorium has been placed on all operations. Why is this so issue right here? Operation against the Chicago Spirits, such that all of the activities within the continental United States will remain wholly unmolested. Foundation assets within the United States must make all possible efforts to assist the Chicago Spirit in all possible manners, such as avoiding law enforcement, unless the Foundation assets and personnel elsewhere may be compromised or harmed as a result of their activities. Join Team I3 Rum Runners, composed of members of former investigative Team K3 and Chicago Spirit, has been formed to encourage the spread of information and supplies, including Asian Sulk for safe brewing within the anomalous community, and locate, euthanize any remaining instances of -1 according to Protocol I-17. Okay, here we go. The description of the second version of 2680. Description, well, not the second version, but like whatever. I'm not sure if 1.5.6 and 2.7.0, if that all means like if it jumped from this to that immediately, or if there was like a 1.6 point thing, you know what I mean? Like if there was like multiple before it reached the 2 point. Not sure about that. But let's see what this is. I already did drink, but I'll drink again, I guess. SCP-2680 is an anomalous form of ethyl alcohol that, when imbibed, causes the development of an anomalous form of smallpox, with similar symptoms such as the formation of irregular pustules. So smallpox is still the problem. Inflamed spouts, lassitude, and delirium. Though there are 3 key differences. 1, the disease causative agent is a form of alcohol rather than an anomalous variant of variole. 2, though near identical to smallpox, the disease is not fatal on its own and wholly survivable by otherwise healthy individuals. Okay, so this is not fatal anymore. This is not fatal. 3, the composition of the pustules is a mixture of SCP-2680 pus and trace amounts of lead and... I was about to say, like, this is not fatal anymore, and I was about to be like, ah, shit, why couldn't you just keep the fun? Ah, bats. Where's the fun in that? In addition to developing symptoms, he would create some fucking smallpox that would blow you up. In addition to developing symptoms of smallpox, victims of SCP-2680, hereby designated -1, develop a chronic urge to pick at and eat their own skin, storing it within the digestive tract until a period of 3 to 6 weeks has elapsed, following which the instance will defecate a mass of dead skin that has taken on the shape and texture of a glass bottle. So alcohol still plays a role here. It just doesn't come out the pus of the smallpox anymore. It just seems to come out as a bottle form out of your ass. Damn. Following expulsions of the cancerous mass, the instance will hold it to the source and pinch and burst their own pustules to fill the mass up with fluid, concurrently resulting in the gradual recession of the symptoms of SCP-2680 in the victim. It is vital to note that this does not in fact cure the disease, the symptoms of which presently is researched after a period of 24 hours. -1 instances are able to recognize the anomaly but refuse to combat the urge, citing either the brief respite from the malady or a delusion that eventually they will be cured by the process, to the point that several instances under the belief that SCP-2680 mixture stored within the mass cured their illness. have sought to expose as many people to the fluid as possible. Am I missing something? Why is this SCP called "The Gorilla Simply Freeze to Death"? Like, I'm not. I read the right title. Like, how is this? Am I missing something? Is there like a nickname for for alcohol that's called gorillas? Like, is that something I'm missing? But refuse to come with the okay. Update 8th 10th 1918. An instance of -1 working at a distillery in Minnesota contaminated the plant with SCP-2680, spreading the disease to the neighboring towns. What the fuck, dude? In total, 453 instances had to be euthanized, and much of the county was subjected to flame-based countermeasures, publicly disseminated as a wildfire. Efforts are ongoing to minimize potential repeats of this incident elsewhere in the United States. This is Keller, right? Yeah, this is full-on Keller. Yeah. There's so much happening. Update 15/6/1919. Testing of reducted combined with silica and mixed with alcohol has proven efficacious in eliminating and preventing SCP-2680 infection in 99% of all test subjects. Efforts to scale up production. That's another thing that they found to like reduce it from happening. Activities of the Chicago Spirit. During the time this testimony was produced, the Foundation Chicago Spirit were collaborating to halt the spread of SCP-2680. This testimony was recorded in 1926 and belongs to Roland McDell, a former consigliere in the Chicago Spirit who oversaw a bootlegging operation within the northwest United States. I agree with you. I'm confused by the SCP name of yeah, it's maybe the last part, maybe the final version up here will fully explain what it is, why it's called that. Who knows? Let me get one thing right clear. I don't deal with normal brewing. You want to hear about that, you find someone else. My job's to make sure all the funnies out here are using our stuff. The easy part's handing out the hooch. Cops won't do squat to stop us, and if some dick tries, well, you're on the boss, take care of him. Well, you and the boss will take care of him. All we have to do is make sure our speakeasy is brewed with the stuff you bulls were handing out. We bring the booze, we bring the brewing kit, they take it. They sell it, they brew it, people buy it. And actually saying it's a sunshine and roses though, thanks to you lot. Word got around fast that we were working with the fucking cops when we first partnered with your enterprise. It took us weeks to even get our own boys on board, forget about all the speakeasies. Till 22, actually, what we had to do was bring in a bunch of drink from Canada and lace it real quiet like with your stuff. What you call it, Agent Sock? We had a whole operation going on. Labels from the crowds, balls from the Brits, and pieces de resistance was the brand name. Golden Skin. Okay, I was about to say okay, gorillas. Best striking of God's green earth. Cause you can't actually find any real golden in the whole damn USA. At least not from the normal guys. But we ain't the normal guys. We got truckloads of goldens. Lace it with your sock and send it up. He's saying sock because he doesn't want to say SCP. Nobody else is gonna get these folks gardens. So it was to either deal with the juice or no gardens. Of course, it helped that the folks drinking gardens were the only ones not turning the booze-filled blisters. The once everyone realized that, yeah, your funny juice was helping them not get beer pox, we didn't need to worry about gardens. All we had to worry about was the competition. We're the biggest semi-ethical associates in the States, but not the only ones, you know. We got all sorts of trying to come in and get the piece of that rum cake, you know what I'm saying? Snakes, deadheads, all those magic bimbos. The hell you do to them anyways? They're real stuck on bumping you lot off. Wasn't until we buddied up with you that they got real testy about us. Acting real tough, trying to threaten us and run us out of town with their fancy tricks and light shows. I'll tell you though, magic don't mean squat when you're staring down the barrel of a tumbler. Fully fair. Fully fair. Oh, you got magic? Well, do you have a gun? You know, Portland's? Yeah, we had one of the biggest joints this side of the Mississippi. Last winter we got raided by the leadheads. Folks are handing out dog hairs and having a grand old time, and suddenly the door gets blown right off the fucking hinges. A bunch of leadheads stormed in. They've turned the fucking arms into gats. Lost 12 guys that night. I don't know if the leadheads had some beef or we were just torpedoes, but that didn't matter for shit. They tried to fuck us over. We couldn't just bump them, we had to send a message. So what we did was roll right back on them. Boss was there personally. We knew where the bastards were holed up and all we had to do was knock. And we knocked all right. We stormed in there, introduced the goons on the first floor to our choppers, and went right knocking on the big cheese door. Bastard was sitting Indian style on the floor, and the boss just smashed his bell over his head. Somehow Buzz got his hand on the bell full of some kind of acid. AfroFluff somewhat. The leadhead melted like a stick of butter. Buzz made bar trophies out of what was left. 3 Portlands is like an enormous magical city, by the way. Oh, okay. Okay. I will probably not remember that when next time it gets mentioned. Unless it's like explained in that moment when it gets mentioned next time. Bar trophies, goons with guns for arms, magic oozing out of the people's goddamn assholes. That's how the game works, you dig? Every day we get the scumbags trying to muscle in our turf and trying to turn us into rabbits or whatever the fuck else. We deal with them and we provide public service to the people. That's real Chicago spirit. Look, I ain't just gonna tell you about everything we did. I am no sap, but we both know that once this shit is done, you are going to try and bull in on us. Probably half the guns you gave us blow up like crowd mines. Just remember the leadheads next time you come knocking. The spirit's the biggest outfit this side of the Atlantic. Whatever the fuck you try to pull, we can pull right back. I gotta say, I like the Chicago spirits. I think that's one of the coolest group of interests we have ever received so far. It's just mafia. It's just a mafia that handle and deal with anomalous shit. I think that's pretty dope. I think at the end I'm not pro mafia, not at all. But I think as a fictional group, and I'm not saying like the mafia is a fictional group, they're fucking real, but in fiction, the mafias are usually pretty cool. They're pretty badass. Now we have version 3.3.0 current version, and this is way shorter. So here we go. Euclid Keller. Vehicle procedures. In one instance of SCP-2680 is currently contained at Site 75. It is to be stored within a standard biological anomaly storage cube within a standard biological storage cell. One instance of -1 is contained at Site 75 with a biological storage cell that has been modified for human habitation. Once per 8 hours, 3D class capsule rations are to be delivered through the rations transference device. No alcoholic beverage of any kind is to be consumed, stored, or otherwise allowed within 5 kilometers of Site 75. So it's still alcohol related. No glass bottles of any kind are allowed within 5 kilometers of Site 75. If glass bottles are seen within the exclusion zone of Site 75, the item must immediately be incinerated by crew following biosafety level 4 procedures. If personnel displaying symptoms of inebriation, observed physical contact should not be made. And it must immediately be reported to site security. More Task Force Copper 3, teetotalers, 7 mass hatters, and Lambda 12 pest control have been deployed to investigate and curb SCP-2680 infection in the wild. Research on the way to develop a vaccine or preventative for SCP-2680. All Foundation personnel are encouraged to avoid consuming alcoholic beverages, any kind of packaged beverage that they have not physically extracted from packaging, such as cardboard box or 6-pack rings. Description: the SCP version of Sopranos. More like Al Capone. When was Al Capone? What year was Al Capone a thing again? Al Capone. Yeah, see, like he was born in the late 1890s, died in like end of World War II. Not the end of World War II, like near the end of World War II. So Chicago Spears will probably be more like Al Capone mafiosos than Sopranos. Okay, description. SCP-2680 is an unidentified species of macrovirus tentatively placed in the order Retroviridae that resembles balls of various types of alcoholic beverages, most commonly Bud Light and Coors Light. Wait, Bud Light, what is the... the real simply freeze to death is a quote from an episode of The Simpsons, or maybe it's a reference to that episode. Oh, okay, hold on. Because I was about to say like Bud Light. Yeah. Bud Light doesn't have any gorillas on it, but yeah. Okay. Huh. And Coors beer. The bottle and bottle cap are composed of silica and anomalous forms of keratin that mimic the proportion of solar lime glass, label paper, and metal crown cork bottles caps. The liquid inside the bottle mimics the physical properties of alcohol, dependent on the brand mimicked, but it's actually a solution composed of water, stem cells, xylitol, proteins, and RNA. When the liquid is consumed by a human, it causes intoxication effects analogous to consuming a similar amount of alcohol. The liquid then instigates a series of physiological changes in the human body, catalyzing the dissolution and widening of the esophagus tract and converting excess esophageal tissue into specialized glands that produce SCP-2680 fluid. Infected persons designated -1 develop dermatillomania, dermatophagia, and rumination syndrome. Over a period of 3 to 6 weeks, infected persons gradually consume the skin around the digits, limbs, and torso. Once 6 weeks have passed, instances of -1 will regurgitate the consumed dermal tissue as the bottle, label, and bottle cap of SCP-2680 before regurgitating SCP-2680 fluid into the bottle. That's gross. Instances of -1 are to produce up to 6 instances of SCP-2680 at a time. Once the last bottle has been regurgitated, the cycle of consumption and regurgitation will restart. During the final process of regurgitation, -1 instances experience anterograde amnesia, with the result that they believe the produced instance of the SCP-2680 to be store-bought alcohol, so they literally just drink the same the beverage that they just barfed up again. Instances of -1 do not appear to be under any anomalous compulsion to perform these actions and can be conditioned and trained to stop. However, most instances resist treatment and prefer to keep the disease secret. Okay, and then in 1. A Protestant community was discovered to be completely infested by SCP-2680. Among the infected were children approximately years old, producing SCP-2680 in the form of Coca-Cola and Fanta brand glass bottles of soda. In light of this revelation, SCP-2680 has been classified as Keter. Mobile Task Force Kappa 3 have been updated to the investigation protocols accordingly. Mobile Task Force Beta 7 has Mass Hatters and Lambda 12 Pest Control have been assigned to 8 Kappa 3. Okay, hold on now. Before we go on and continue with the next SCP, I do want to like I'm trying to see a lot of people liked it though. I'm just okay, let me actually give in gorillas simply freeze to death and see what comes up. Okay, there is this there's a clip. I'm gonna play it. Afro, in the future, cut this out because this might cause me some copyright issues on YouTube. So let me just listen to it real quick.
Well, I was wrong. The lizards are a godsend.
But isn't that a bit short-sighted? What happens when we're overrun by lizards?
No problem. We simply unleash wave after wave of Chinese needle snakes. They'll wipe out the lizards.
But aren't the snakes even worse?
Yes, but we're prepared for that. We've lined up a fabulous type of gorilla that thrives on snake meat.
But then we're stuck with gorillas.
No, that's the beautiful part. When wintertime rolls around, the gorillas simply freeze to death.
I think I understand what the reference is. I think the reference might be because the first version was a version of smallpox that like bursted in alcohol, and the Foundation managed to like somehow like fix it. It decided to get worse. It decided to get like a lot more extreme. The Foundation went after it, and then they fixed it, or like and found a way to like again reduce the spread. The thing decided to get even worse. It's basically like the whole effect of like, oh, we have lizards now we're adding snakes to try to solve the problem. The snakes are now the new problem. It's like, oh, we got gorillas that will solve the problem, but then the gorillas will be the new problem. It's kind of like a thing where like each individual thing gets worse and worse and worse. Because now, I'm not quite sure if it's because of what the Foundation did that caused the effects to get worse. But I think that's basically what the reason is for the title being that. I think that's what it's trying to say. I might be wrong though. Okay, let's get to the next one, hey, shall we?